Good morning. I'm Joe Watson, production manager at Wolfe Construction, and we're here today to talk about getting ready to spring forward. In your crawl space, it's very important to make sure you keep an eye on things, especially as heavy rains prepare us for April showers. It's a good idea after a heavy rain to try to get into your crawl space and look around if you're feeling adventurous. Now, the first thing I like to do when we get in here is I like to look around to make sure there's no animals or critters living in the space. It's very important because you can see anything from the size of a mouse all the way up to the size of a raccoon. Seen it. Funny story is, the other day I was in a crawl space, had a rat come right at me. Fortunately, I had some marking paint with me, so if any of you guys see any bright orange, friend. So when you get in a space, you can look around, you can look for insulation that's been pulled down, you can look for piles of stuff that's on the ground that looks like it might be a nest of some kind, look for animal droppings or even potentially urine or things on top of your vapor barrier or encapsulation if you have one. So when you've made the choice that you're willing to jump into the dark and try it out, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put on your protective equipment. Here I have some gloves, a face mask to avoid any mold or insulation that might be floating there or dust. Definitely a light. I like to use headlamps in the space so your hands are free, just in case you might have to wrestle an alligator down here, even though we're not in Florida. Anyway, or a flashlight or something. And then I definitely recommend long sleeves, long pants, and closed-toed shoes while you're down in the space, because you never know, there might be some nails or something might get hung on, or something might, want to try to injure you down here. Sometimes you have to, fight for the life in the crawl space. So once you're down in the space and you're looking around, the key is to first try to identify any type of additional debris, wood rot, or things that might be lying in the space that are basically a buffet for wood-eating insects. And you want to get those out of your space because you want them to visit the buffet down the street. Right? So once you're in the space and you've seen that and that's cleared out and that's not a problem, then you're looking for that water that might be on top of your vapor barrier encapsulation. Now, a key point about encapsulation is a lot of your waterproofing companies that install these encapsulations, they have a warranty on them. So be very careful when you're down there, because if you puncture this or tear this, it may void your warranty. Now, a lot of waterproofing companies might be willing to come out and investigate your space for you, especially when they come out. If you have a DHU or a humidity control system in your space, when they come to check that, you can ask them, say, hey, look around. Is there any water on top of the barrier? Is there any wood rot or moisture or anything that I should be concerned about? Then once you're done with that, you're going to look around for maybe like some plumbing that might be leaking, because small leaks over time will cost you money. Not just to your water bill, but if it's doing wood damage and wood rot damage or creating mold and moisture in the space, that could be a huge issue. Another thing I like to talk to customers about is look at your HVAC system. So in the crawl space, it's very interesting, right? So the inside of a crawl space is typically different temperature, opposite temperature of the temperature outside. So in the crawl space right now, I'm nice and cozy, and the person behind the camera is freezing their butt off, and that's okay. So we're down here, we're doing our thing. So if you're looking at that HVAC, especially during the warmer months, right, it's going to be creating lots of condensation potentially, and you're going to want to make sure that condensation isn't forming, creating puddles on top of your vapor barrier, which is trapping itself between your wood system and the vapor barrier, where it has no place to go. So it's just going to cause damage. And if you're having an issue with that, reach out to your local HVAC company. They'll help you out. The other thing is definitely double check if you have an opportunity to look at your HVAC condensation pump. Most HVAC systems, if they're in your crawl space, will have a condensation pump, and it should be actively moving the water away from the HVAC system out of the space. Some of them don't. They just have drain lines, and that's fine. Just make sure that's clear and that water is moving out of the space. I will say most crawl spaces don't have lights in them. Occasionally, they will have a light switch here, and you'll wonder where that goes to. That's typically a light for your HVAC system or for your HVAC repairman to do services on your unit. Well, I think that's about it. If you guys have anything, I may have forgot, you can reach out to us, drop it on a comment on the, make sure to like this video. Once again, I'm Joe Watson, production manager over at Wolfe Construction. You can find us online at wolfeconstruction.com, I think. Wolf.construction. Wolf something. Find us.